Hello everybody, this is Hockey Pones and you are watching a ship-by-ship video with commentary on 2015 draft-eligible player Zachary Werenski of Team USA. As with all of my other ship-by-ship videos, this is not intended to be a highlight reel. This is meant to be an honest and objective look at a player's strengths, skills, and style of play. And in this game in particular, Werenski gets one goal in Team USA's 3-2 loss against Team Russia. So let's get on to the game. It's a bit of an unfortunate start for Werenski because at this point he's defending the player quite well. There's no chance for him to get around either him or his defensive partner, and his teammate takes an unnecessary penalty and they go on the penalty kill. And that's unfortunate because Werenski does not play on the penalty kill at all in this game. And Team USA takes, I believe, 8 penalties, so there's not a whole lot of usage that Werenski gets throughout this game. He is also used, they dress 7 defensemen, so basically on the third pairing, and they rotate. And he's also used on the second pairing for the power play. In case you've forgotten, or in case this is your first video watching that I've made, I'm a big fan of utility and having multiple roles and just doing more than one thing to help the team. And so while I can't hold it against a player for the coach's decision in terms of how he's being used, I do always prefer to see a player in multiple roles. In this game at least, and in this shift in particular, Werenski shows why I would classify him as a high-risk positional player, but a low-risk puck distributor, because in this particular moment, which is coming up, you see Werenski is chipping in, and there are 4 USA players and only 3 Russian players on the screen, which means that there are 2 Russian players behind him and only 1 USA player. So that has a huge risk for a 2-on-1 if the clear works, and fortunately it didn't work in Werenski's case. But you're going to see a couple more of these plays where he gets a little over aggressive, and it's a high risk. At least that's how I consider it. And I don't bring this up because I'm trying to say that he lacks hockey sense or that he's going to be a bust, because as hopefully you know, when I make these videos, I don't judge a player based off of one game, and I certainly don't judge a 17-year-old based off of one game or one shift or anything like that. I mean, that's why these players learn, they develop, and you know, sometimes great players just develop at different stages and different rates. So with Werenski, this is just something to keep in mind, but he does make some high-risk positional plays in this game. Just to continue that thought on the positioning and the high risk, one of the pluses to Werenski's game is he is very decisive, and I really like that about him. I think that's one of his best strengths, and I think that as he gets more experience and he gets better reads and he gets more coaching, he's going to learn to combine his decisive style of play while also making just better decisions in that much shorter period of time. So again, he's making high-risk plays, but he also does them very quickly and he acts on instinct, and I think that will only take him further as he develops his game as a professional. Another quality about Werenski that I'm going to talk about shortly before I start criticizing him again is I think that he has very good size. On elite prospects, he's listed at 6'2", and while he's not a bruiser by any means, he definitely will shove players out of the way of the net and throw his weight around a little bit. So I like players that have that competitive edge and will play with a bit of physicality here. I also mentioned that he's a low-risk passer, and he shows that time and time again, especially in this shift where he makes the short, simple passes instead of the Hail Marys. And again, just in terms of power quarterbacking a power play, I think that he has his contributions. Now, he does show his high risk in terms of his positioning, because right here, Dylan Larkin is taking a low percentage shot, and Werenski is coming in from the right side here, and I'm not exactly sure where he's going to go. It's creating a no man's land for him, because when Larkin misses, he's not along the boards where he can keep the puck in the zone. And that, nullifies the power play a little bit. However, I also mentioned how Werenski is very decisive, and he shows that right here when he is about to receive the puck, and in very short time he's going to fire off a wrist shot instead of waiting to create more traffic and just basically getting the shot off right away, which at times can be very effective, and in this game it will be effective later on. Sorry, spoiler alert. However, I don't know why I ever say spoiler alert, because I already say in the beginning of the video or sometime during the video when a player scores a goal, you already know he's going to score in this game. And so just want you to keep in mind on how he scores. So I've read that scouts have had mixed reviews on Werenski, especially after this World Junior Championship, and I can understand that. I've mentioned before how I feel he's a high risk positionally but low risk puck distributing type of defenseman, and I don't use that term a whole lot, but in this case I think it's very appropriate in terms of describing this game for Werenski. And so it always depends on what the scouts look at and what people look for specifically. With Werenski, the first time I saw this game, I'm like, well, I didn't like it a whole lot, but then as I came to watch it again and learn a little bit more, I've come to appreciate it. Except at this point. Werenski gets himself in no man's land because the pass is going to go over to the right, well, his left, and he's going to go against the grain, and the player he should be defending gets a prime scoring opportunity because he was able to take it to the inside, and Werenski just didn't have a chance with how he set himself up. And so, again, that's something that's going to come with experience and with coaching. He just got too close to his partner there and left too much space for the opposition to come in and become a lot more dangerous than he should have. But that's why I do these videos. It's a learning experience for me in terms of what to look for, and this is a learning experience for these players too. I think when we evaluate these players, we're very unfair and unrealistic in judging them based off of what they're doing as 17, 18-year-olds, and even after they're drafted, what they're doing as 19 and 20-year-olds. I've said numerous times, I'm not happy about how I was when I was 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, and even when I was much older, and still am. So don't judge too much into these videos, and these are kids. They all have a lot of promise. Of course, some are more promising than others, but just don't write people off. There's so much for us to learn and so much for them to learn. And I know I'm rambling on this, so I apologize, but I think it's important that as we evaluate players and look at them and foster these discussions and try to learn, I think that it's important that we keep that in context. And as we watch more and learn more, hopefully we get better in terms of understanding these players and what they're going through. If you've noticed from my last video and also in this one, I'm shying away from discussing which teams I think would be a good fit or which teams would be a bad fit, because truthfully, just like anything else, I don't really know, and there's just a lot I don't know. In this particular moment, what I like about Werenski is he already has his stick cocked and ready to go, and once again, he's just very decisive in terms of getting the shot off, and even though it doesn't go in the net or create a great scoring chance, I think that as he develops further and plays at a higher level, that's going to eventually get him a little bit further, because there is that, it takes away the goalie's chance to set up and get comfortable. And so anytime you can get a shot off before the goalie can get ready, you create a lot of scoring opportunities. This particular shift really exemplifies what I love about Werenski, and it's not going to come up for a couple more moments, but I keep talking about how he's decisive and how he makes low-risk decisions and a little bit high-risk decisions in terms of position. And in the end, it really works out for Werenski, and it turns out to be a great play. And this particular point, when Werenski gets the puck, doesn't really have any options of where to distribute it. And so instead of just dumping the puck in and possibly causing a forced turnover, he spins around and protects the puck, and then he dumps it in to buy himself a little bit more time and gives his teammate a chance to keep the puck in. And just a couple of seconds later here, the puck is going to get sent back to him, and I've talked about how he's very quick with getting the shot off, and he gets it, fires a wrist shot, and goes past the goalie before he can set up. So I talked about how I'm going to avoid saying what teams are a good fit or a bad fit for particular players, and I'm going to stick to that, at least I plan to. But I'm also, of course, going to stay away from the whole player comparison thing. I know a lot of people like them, and I'm sorry if that annoys you or frustrates you, but just like with highlight reels, I think player comparisons create an unfair expectation of the players, because some will read about how player A was compared to player B, and 5 years later he doesn't turn out that way, and suddenly that player is a bust, which I think is stupid. In this particular shift, I talked about how he makes low-risk passes, and it's a low-risk pass. I mean, it's a potential icing, but Eichel had a chance to get the puck, and of course it winds around the board to a teammate anyways, and of course it didn't result in a goal. But this is actually Werenski's last shift of the game, and so as usual I want to thank you for watching this video and providing any feedback, and I hope that you continue to watch the rest. Have a good day.